construction of the budget is in the process of changing rather dramatically this year, with the legislature just now having voted on the local control funding formula, but not yet having given the implementation language out. And so we have a lot of gears shifting as we're trying to build the budget. And so we've built primarily off of the May revise. And at this time, we're projecting unrestricted general fund revenue of $195 million, expenditures of 152.7, and contributions of about 44.3. Bottom line, a net expenditures in excess of revenues of about $5.5 million. We're still finalizing some things because the revenue number continues to shift. At this point, part of what the advice we were given from the county and from school services was to take a look at the governor's local control funding formula and then compare it to what we would be under the old law with regard to the revenue limit and take the lower of the two. Unfortunately, we are lower under the local control funding formula. We do not make quite as much because we don't have enough students who qualify for free and reduced lunch and or our English learners or foster youth that would kick us into the bonus. That was true under the old May revised numbers. You had to have at least 50%. We were at 49. And under the new numbers, or I'm sorry, we were initially in their initial projection, we were at 44. Well, the 44 got adjusted up to 49 when they got the right year's data. And then the target got pushed out to 55. So we're still 6 points away from the target right now. So we will not be getting the concentration funding at all. However, it is still going to be a net increase. The challenge right now is in what format it's going to look like when all is said and done, because part of what the state has to do with the new control funding formula is give us all the new codes of how everything's going to look, and we'll be making some shifts mid-year. But with regard to the adoption of the current budget, we're building everything kind of based on the way the rules all were, using all of our old account codes, all of our old strings, and bringing everything forward. And so, all in all, it's a decent year. It's the first year where we don't actually have an increase in the deficit factor in the entire time that I've worked in the district, actually. So that's actually some good news. And so we'll be looking forward to a little bit better. We're going to have a more full presentation, the normal presentation you would normally see at our meeting when we come forward to finalize the budget, because the document is still not ready. We had some computer issues. I actually had a complete crash of my laptop in the middle of the afternoon this afternoon. It's now recovered, thankfully, but I was connected to the network working on the budget at the time, so we're going to be delayed in getting the book out.
So with that, I would recommend that you open the hearing and then you continue the hearing to our special meeting next week, so that anybody that wishes to...
Don't close the public hearing.
No, don't close the public
Right.
hearing. You're going to open public hearing and then continue the hearing to our special meeting next week. And then with regard to the proposed adoption, there would not be able to be any action taken on that, and that would be something that you could open, and then we're going to continue that to our special meeting next week.
Which makes sense. So let's just explain to folks what we approved for Monday's special meeting. Let's just kind of highlight that for folks. What is on the agenda then around the budget for Monday? Part of it will be this completion of the public hearing of the 2013-14 budget. Anything else that would be on that agenda around the budget?
And there would be the budget to be adopted.
Okay, so do you want to postpone 16.2 until Monday as well?
I think that we should begin it and then continue it to the next meeting, officially start it and then continue to the next meeting, with the understanding that once we get information from the governor and he finishes his blue penciling and does his final signing, then we have 45 days to come back with a revised budget. So it's a very complicated, and this is normal public education finances, but this is what we would have to do. So we will have the budget as we know it next Monday, knowing that it's going to be changed. And then mid-year we're going to be changing it again when they change all the codes on us.
Okay. Did I miss the piece, and maybe you're going to talk about this on Monday, But I know, I'm still constantly trying to catch up because the assembly came up with the other, I forget the acronym for it, but Susan Bonilla, I went to her budget meeting. Did that go down in failure? Do you know the one I'm talking about where there was a kind of 2-for-1?
That was trailer language. That, as a trailer language that she was sponsoring?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe what you're referring to is, are you referring to the duplicate count as opposed to the unduplicated pupil count?
Yes.
I believe unduplicated pupil count is actually what did survive,
Okay.
not the duplicated pupil count.
Okay.
So it's each student only counts once, whether they are an English learner or foster youth or
Okay,
on free.
because I know under her scenario through the assembly, we were less harmed as a district, it seemed.
Overall, with what has happened in the legislature and what the legislature approved, because the base grants went up and the portion of dollars that was related to the concentration grants went down, all in all, we do end up better under that plan, but we won't have the numbers for that plan until the 45-day revision comes in.
Okay, got it. All right, so did you have a comment, Mrs. Mayo?
I believe you have it open to the public first.
Right, I'm going to open up the public hearing, and then unless the board has any issues, we will follow the request here to continue that public hearing next Monday, not actually close the public hearing, and then continue with the proposed adoption of the 2013-14 budget, okay? So at this time, I would open the public hearing regarding the adoption of the 2013-14 budget and ask if there are any members of the public who'd like to come forward to begin comment. We will continue this next Monday here in open session. Okay, thank you. There are no comments at this time. Mrs. Mayo would like to add something?
I would just like to ask staff a question, and maybe it's too soon to have this information. When we're determining the numbers that qualify for the concentration grant, what year do they look at Mount Diablo? And my question is specific to